Welcome back, everyone. It's day two of Finance Magnets London Summit. I'm joined today by Chris Harms, who's co-founder of BVNK. Chris, thanks for joining us today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So for those of our readers and viewers who don't know much about BVNK, can you give us a quick rundown of sort of the core offering that you guys provide to clients?
Sure. So BVNK is a payments business at its core, but we really build crypto-powered payments products. And what that really means is we have a crypto payment gateway, which allows brokers and traditional merchants to accept crypto payments. We take away all the hassle of converting that, and we can settle those merchants in fiat or crypto. And then we also have a global settlement network, which is effectively allows merchants to do cross-border payments, but using upgraded payments infrastructure, being a blockchain, and effectively use stablecoins to do that.
And what kind of stablecoins can clients transact in?
They can transact in most of the fiat-backed stablecoins, if not all. So naturally, more of the fiat highly regulated kind of fiat-backed stablecoins versus algo stablecoins, effectively.
And can customers essentially transfer fiat to crypto, crypto to fiat for their business operation needs as well through the ecosystem?
Exactly. So our platform is kind of sat at the intersection between crypto financial systems and fiat financial systems, and we provide that bridge between the two in a highly regulated and compliant way.
Listen, there's been a lot of impact to the crypto markets this year. Unfortunately, they've all been, pretty bad. Celsius Network in the United States, the crypto lending platform, basically got into trouble, and now we have the situation that's unfolding with FTX. I guess maybe a two-pronged question. What's your opinion on these events that have transpired? And the second part, in terms of your business and your clients, what kind of changes, or are you seeing any changes in terms of how your clients are transacting, or in terms of any kind of, availability or liquidity of crypto and things like that?
Sure, yeah. So there's obviously been an unfortunate turn of events in recent weeks within the crypto space. I think that just highlights that the nascency of the industry. So we're still very early on. There's obviously actors that come in, don't run businesses in the right way, or startups scale too quick, leveraging kind of that tailwind of growth in the last bull market, and didn't do exactly what they should have done. And at the end of the day, FTX, the more info that comes out, it looks like it's just fraud at the end of the day. Which is, you need to separate that from crypto itself. Bad actors in crypto doesn't mean crypto is bad or that sort of thing. What we find in terms of just general trends would be, we very much we separate the adoption of crypto at an end consumer level, so number of wallet addresses and these sorts of things, and those trends are still up and to the right. And then where we separate that out is like the volatility of crypto asset prices. So you separate the two. Obviously, we're in a very volatile period, bear market, but the adoption of crypto is still going on, and we're building, and our products really cater to that adoption trend versus, catering to the, volatility of crypto assets. So for us as a business, we haven't been meaningfully affected at all. We had no exposure to FTX. We've put a few statements out around that. Sure. But what we are seeing is naturally a bit of skepticism come in from the end consumer, which obviously drives merchant adoption of crypto. Right. But I think it's a blip. In the long-term adoption chart, it's probably going to be a slight blip. You need a few things to settle down, and we'll be back to kind of adoption trends, or that's at least our view.
Do you sort of follow the international regulatory landscape with respect to cryptocurrency? Perhaps you personally, or on the business, from the business side as well. It seems to me like European markets are way ahead of the United States at this point right now in terms of creating a level playing field that is sort of understood by all, and kind of everybody knows the rules that they need to play by, whereas in the United States, it seems like the local regulators still haven't decided whether it's a commodity or if it's a security and things like that. And then, to be completely honest with you, Asia also looks to be a region that, in terms of crypto adoption, was one of the first to kind of really roll that kind of stuff out in terms of regulations and banks using crypto and just the general population. Kind of what's your take on where we are globally in terms of like the regulatory framework?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously naturally follow regulation really closely. We have two sides to our business. Naturally, the fiat side, which is regulated by EMI licensing, and we have our crypto side of our business, and we have a VASP license in Spain. So naturally, we're tracking. We've got a big regulatory team that's on the forefront of kind of, with all the industry bodies lobbying in the right areas to get legislation, put in place. I mean, more broadly, I think I would agree with your point that Europe seems to be coming together more under the MiCA legislation, a more unified approach to crypto regulation. The US still seem to be a bit fighting in between each other, the different regulators, and the SEC are doing crypto regulation by enforcement, which is not the best way to do things. But yeah, I think regulation was on a good trajectory. We had positive regulation coming to fore. Naturally, this FTX thing is throwing a bit of a spanner in the works, so to speak. But at the end of the day, I think regulation is good for the industry. But when I say regulation, it needs to be well thought out, clear, and kind of more globally adopted. If each market has its own regulatory rules, you start getting regulatory arbitrage. So Europe's step into like MiCA is a great way forward there. We have a unified regulation, and I think a few other big regulators are starting to pick up on that and taking a few feathers out of I guess the EU regulators' hat there.
Following up on that, what do you think are going to be the key themes for crypto in 2023? Considering everything that's happened this year.
Yeah, I mean, naturally top of mind is going to be regulation and how regulators react to what's currently happening. I think you're going to have, you're going to see a lot of, the contagion effect. You're seeing a couple of businesses hit with contagion. So I think for me, a big one is it's going to be back to focusing on real use cases of crypto. And this is where I think we are really well positioned. Is our business is building around the payments use case, and that there's obviously speculative use cases that have come into crypto, and in bull markets you get these things come out. But at the end of the day, the payments use case is working today. It's an upgrade of traditional payments infrastructure. I think so. A core theme is going to be obviously the regulation, and then back to kind of building actual crypto products that make sense for the industry and that have a core use case.
Great. Well, perhaps as a last final question, is there anything our readers can look forward to in terms of sort of new services or new products that you guys might be rolling out next year?
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're going through a bit of a relaunch of some of our core products early next year. So there should be a couple of things out around there, and then we're working on a few interesting products at proof of concept stage. At the moment, I can't say too much. We're working with a couple of highly regulated financial institutions, and effectively just taking all the modular way we built our existing platform, bringing that together and productizing it and taking it to market. So watch the space, I would say.
Cool. Sounds exciting. All right, Chris, well, thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of the conference, and good luck towards the end of the year and in 2023.
Great.